The rare bicentennial quarter that changed everything, a $5.1 million coin. In the quiet, exclusive atmosphere of a private auction room in Manhattan last month, numismatic history was made when a single 1976 bicentennial quarter, bearing the now iconic colonial drummer boy design, familiar to millions of Americans, sold for an incredible $5.1 million. The sale, held away from the usual media attention that accompanies record-breaking events, has sent shockwaves through the world of coin collecting and reignited interest in these seemingly ordinary quarters. These coins, once thought to be just another part of everyday pocket change, are now being scrutinized more closely than ever, as collectors hunt for hidden gems in their own spare change jars. The drummer boy that changed everything. The coin in question, which has been dubbed the Liberty Drummer by its previous owner, represents the perfect storm of numismatic elements that can turn an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. While more than 1.7 billion bicentennial quarters were struck between 1975 and 1976 to celebrate America's 200th birthday, this particular coin carries a combination of errors so rare that many experts thought it was impossible for such a coin to exist. I've examined over 30,000 bicentennial quarters in my career, says Eleanor Winters, a third-generation numismatist who authenticated the coin before its sale. But when I first saw this one, I couldn't believe it. We're talking about an alignment of 5 different minting errors on a single coin. The probability of this happening is practically zero. The quarter's story began in the spring of 2024, when Martin Gladwell, a retired postal worker from Cheyenne, Wyoming, decided to have his late father's modest coin collection appraised. What he assumed would be a collection worth a few $100s contained what would turn out to be one of the most significant numismatic discoveries of the decade. "My dad wasn't a collector," Gladwell recalls. "He just kept interesting coins in an old coffee tin. When the appraiser started shaking and asked to sit down, I thought something was wrong with him, not the coins. An impossible combination of errors." What makes the Liberty Drummer so extraordinarily valuable is its combination of errors, each one significant on its own, but when found together on a single coin, they form a numismatic rarity that experts are calling the perfect storm. The quarter features a dramatic quad-strike error. The coin was struck 4 times, with each strike slightly offset, creating a ghostly, almost three-dimensional effect on Washington's profile. No mint mark, despite being struck on a 40% silver blank intended for San Francisco proof coins. This quarter lacks the S mint mark that should appear under Washington's portrait. Significant die rotation. The reverse of the coin is rotated about 180 degrees relative to the obverse, making the coin appear upside down when flipped. Wrong planchet composition. Metallurgical analysis revealed that the coin was struck on a 40% silver planchet meant for special proof coins. However, its shows were consistent with a coin that had been in circulation. Obverse design elements from 2 different dies. A microscopic examination revealed that the coin's obverse bore features from both the 1975 and 1976 master dies, a rare and strange merging of 2 design elements. This combination shouldn't be possible, given the mint's quality controls, says Raymond Jimenez, a former U.S. Mint technician. It's clear that the coin was produced during a chaotic period when the mint was under pressure to produce millions of bicentennial quarters in a very short time. The record-breaking auction. The journey of this extraordinary coin from a coffee tin in Wyoming to a record-setting auction in Manhattan took just under a year. After being authenticated by 3 independent grading services, each initially skeptical about the coin's authenticity, the Liberty Drummer was finally certified and graded as MS-63, an exceptional grade considering that it appeared to have circulated before being saved. The private auction, which was limited to just 12 invited bidders representing major collectors and institutions, lasted only 7 minutes. The winning bid, a staggering $5.1 million, came from an anonymous collector, reported to be assembling an elite collection of American minting errors. "We knew it was going to break records, but nothing like this," said Caroline Shenton, the auction coordinator. The previous record for a quarter was around $1.3 million for a 1796 example. This sale shattered that record and cemented the bicentennial quarters as a serious area for numismatic investment. Could you have one? Although the sale of the Liberty Drummer represents an extraordinary outlier, numismatists believe that other valuable bicentennial quarters may still be hiding in circulation. While none are likely to fetch $5.1 million, certain error varieties could still be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. Since the news of this sale broke, we've seen a huge increase in bicentennial quarters being submitted for authentication, notes Patrick Hernandez of the American Numismatic Guarantee, a leading coin grading service. Most of these are worth face value, but we're finding valuable errors at a much higher rate than we expected. Some of the most sought-after varieties to look for include silver composition specimens. These coins lack the copper stripe visible on the edge of standard-clad quarters and may have accidentally entered circulation. Double or triple-struck coins. These coins show ghosted, overlapping images from multiple strikes. Off-center strikes. Coins where the design is misaligned, leaving blank areas on one side. Missing elements, particularly in the stars or lettering. Any missing design elements could indicate a valuable error. Die rotation errors. These errors occur when the reverse design is not properly aligned with the obverse. Even more common errors can bring anywhere from $1,500 to $7,000. Experts believe that there are still hundreds of significant error bicentennial quarters hidden in circulation or in collections where the owners have yet to realize their value. The birth of the bicentennial quarter. To understand why these errors occurred, it helps to know the history behind the creation of the bicentennial quarter. In the early 1970s, as America prepared to celebrate its 200th birthday, Congress authorized special reverse designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. The design for the quarter, featuring a colonial drummer boy, was chosen from over 880 submissions, and production began in 1975. Every quarter struck that year and in 1976 carried the dual date, 1776 to 1976. With over 1.7 billion bicentennial quarters minted across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, the large volume of production led to some inevitable mistakes slipping through quality control. The bicentennial quarters represent the largest commemorative coin program in U.S. history, explains Dr. Marcus Jenkins, curator of American coinage at the Smithsonian Institution. The sheer scale of production made some errors unavoidable, but those that escaped and remained in circulation are now seen as important artifacts. The investment potential. The market for rare bicentennial quarters has been energized by the record-breaking sale of the Liberty Drummer, with prices for other error coins spiking in the wake of the auction. We've seen prices increase by 30 to 40% in just the weeks following the auction, says Victoria Chong, who tracks rare coin markets for Numismatic Investment Quarterly. For example, a 1976 D off-center strike that might have been worth $3,000 last year sold for $7,800 last week. The whole category has become much more appealing to collectors. Experts caution, however, that authentication is key. The surge in interest has also led to a rise in counterfeit or altered coins being passed off as rare errors. Unfortunately, there are people intentionally damaging coins in hopes of selling them as errors, warns Thomas Blackwood of the American Numismatic Association. Professional authentication is crucial in this market. How to check your coins. For those inspired to check their own bicentennial quarters, experts recommend a systematic approach. Gather all your bicentennial quarters. These coins have the dual date 1776 to 1976 on the front and the colonial drummer boy design on the reverse. Check the edges. Silver examples, which should have only been produced as proof coins, will lack the copper stripe visible on the edge of standard-clad quarters. Look for misalignments. When rotating the coin between your fingers, the reverse should be oriented correctly relative to the obverse. If the reverse is upside down, you may have a valuable rotation error. Examine for multiple strikes. Use a magnifying glass to look for doubled or ghosted features. Check for missing elements. Missing stars, letters, or portions of the design could indicate valuable strike-through errors. Look for off-center strikes. If the design is misaligned, leaving blank areas on the coin, it might be worth something. Remember, never clean your coins, as this can dramatically decrease their value. Also, while valuable errors are rare, most bicentennial quarters are worth only 25 cents. The cultural impact. The renewed interest in bicentennial quarters has sparked a cultural phenomenon, reminding Americans that extraordinary value can sometimes be found in the most ordinary places. There is something democratic about the idea that a fortune could be hiding in the spare change we handle daily. "I've started checking all the quarters in my change jar," says Michael Templeton, a father from Columbus, Ohio. "My daughter's probably not going to find anything worth millions, but she's learning about history and paying attention to details, and that's priceless." Looking forward. As America approaches its 250th anniversary in 2026, the bicentennial quarter has unexpectedly found new relevance. The U.S. Mint has already announced plans to release a new series of commemorative quarters for the semi-quincentennial, but for now, the 1976 bicentennial quarter remains a symbol of both the country's past and its potential for unexpected discovery. As numismatist Eleanor Winters reflects, it's not just about the record-breaking price. It's a reminder that history, art, and value can be hidden in plain sight. Every time we handle these small pieces of metal, we touch history, and sometimes, if we're lucky, a small fortune.